breakfast. Usually it don't take long before you gain it all back anyway, but you need to start.
I was gonna go visit the American First one.
Yep. All right, we'll start this meeting. Join me with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I get a roll call?
Mayor Rao,
Here.
Councilman Rao,
Present.
Councilman Hunter. Here. Councilman Laverie, I have not heard from him. I don't know that he's gonna be here tonight. And Councilman Fitzsimons.
Present.
All right, are we in compliance with our open meeting law?
Yes.
All right, we'll go to public comment. Do we have any public comment?
Anything online?
Okay, no public comment. Items for discussion and possible action for the city of Calamity, approve or deny clarification of 10% raise increase to the electric fund from the original rate of 0.114852 kilowatt hours to 0.126337 kilowatt hours is intended as intended by prior actions. You want to explain that?
Yep, so, I mean, it's basically as it reads, this is just intended to clarify because we had two prior meetings where we discussed this. One was a nominal increase and the other was a percentage increase. And then in error, I had recorded the initial increase on the secondary proposal with the wrong amount. It ended up just being a mess. So this is just to clarify, the intent of the council was to increase the electric rate by 10%. And these were the amounts. Originally, our rate was at 11.4852 cents or 0.114852 per kilowatt hour. And the 10% increase from that amount goes to 0.126337 per kilowatt hour, or just over 12.5 cents per kilowatt hour. So we've already approved, in theory, the increase. This is just to clarify and make it simple when we go back and look at the documentation for the increase. It's a simple 10% increase from where we were to where we are today.
I make a motion, we approve the rate increase as intended.
I'll second it. Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve this explanation. 10%. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay.
As a point of clarification, which we discussed in prior meetings, it goes into effect as of tomorrow, July 1st. I don't know, that was
in previous meetings we talked,
Yes.
it's just clarification.
Okay, approve or deny budget augmentation for the 2021 through 2022 fiscal year ending June 30th, 22.
Okay, I'm gonna hand these out and then we can discuss. This is really short and sweet. So. So, as you'll see on these, and I'll walk you through it, it's pretty straightforward. All we're doing here is adjusting our budget so that when it comes to the audit and any findings, we will not be out of compliance with our budget. So, page 1 that I gave you there, it's actually page 41, if you look at the page number, is our utility waste fund. We are augmenting the budget by $30,000 for the waste fund. This is not really surprising based on the fact that we've had these budget meetings and known that we are operating in the wrong direction over the last several years. So this is to compensate for that and allow us to be in compliance with our budget. And the funds that will be utilized for that are driven by the fund itself and however we continue to operate normally. So these are just additional opportunity for us to comply with our budget. Whether or not we spend it all is a different story. Any questions on that? Page 43 is the electric fund. This one is a little, I'll do a little bit more explaining, but we're increasing the budget, or our budget augmentation for the electric fund is $100,000. This is primarily stems from two things. So we have the increase in the cost of power to us started back before the beginning of this calendar year when Lincoln County Power raised our rates. And so what you would expect to see in a budget year when you go to look at the budget augmentation for expenses is, okay, if we're gonna be spending more money in expenses, I would expect to see some additional revenue because we're billing, right? But we hadn't raised our rates. And so we're behind in the budget process because we've been paying almost a year's worth of higher rates to Lincoln County Power for increases that we didn't implement until tomorrow for our budget's sake. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why we need to augment our electric fund. The other reason is because we have more revenue. As you can see, operating revenue for the electric fund, we're increasing that, we're augmenting the revenue by 80,000, which in turn means there was more power consumed and our bills were higher. So they kind of fall in step with each other, higher revenue, higher expenses with Lincoln County Power. So that's why we're augmenting that budget, the 100,000. And it's split up in a few funds, but ultimately, in conversations with Dan MacArthur's office, it's just a net operating expense that we're worried about. Just so long as the overall net operating expense is below what we budget for, then we'll be fine. We'll be in compliance. And then the last one is very minor, is the building fund. And this is due to permits and where we pay our building inspector out of. We're augmenting that by 2,000 just to make sure his last bill falls within the budget. And that should take care of that. So, any questions on those?
I'd move that we approve the budget augmentation for the 2021-2022 fiscal year ending today.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the budget augmentation for the 21-22 fiscal year ending today. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Public comment.
I have some.
Okay.
On July 11th, I've been mentioning at the last couple of meetings that we are going to have a Lincoln County Regional Development Workshop to finalize our 5-year strategy plan that's mandatory by the state regulations. Anyway, that's going to start at 1 o'clock. Also on that day, they have set it up to have the ribbon cutting for the path down to Kershaw. The last I heard, they were going to contact the ranger down there and see if they could have it. They said at the park.
Probably at the entrance down there where.
Oh, that's what I would think at the entrance, but I'm not sure where it's at. But anyway, that's going to be at 11 o'clock on the 11th of July.
11 o'clock?
11 o'clock on the 11th of July. And then our regular workshop's going to start at 1 o'clock.
Oh, okay. That's where I got the one.
And then when that's over, our regular Lincoln County Regional Development meeting will start, I believe, at 4:30 in this room. mayor is expected to make a speech.
All right, do we have any other public comment? We have no other public comment. What else we got on here? We got, scheduled for our next meeting?
Yeah, so July 7th will be our next scheduled meeting. I will be putting that agenda out tonight before I leave. I'm going to be gone tomorrow, and because of the holiday, that meeting has to be published by tomorrow by 9 a.m. So I will be posting that tonight around town and getting everything set for that. Linda will run the meeting, and that'll be at 6 o'clock on July 7th. So, and then I guess just as a note to that, I spoke with a few of you about this. So now that we're into the next fiscal year, starting tomorrow, my plan is to have a budget or financial discussion as a part of our, typically it will be the first council meeting of every month where we will review the budget to actual revenue and expenditures for the prior month. So I was hoping to do that July 7th, where I'm not going to be here that day either. We'll move that to July 21st. That'll kind of be our, our trial run, if you will, because we're going to be looking at June numbers, which will already be in the books, and the year will be over. But that will be happening on a monthly basis, and so that'll be our first go there.
I think that's a great idea, and I think it's important, transparency wise too, and then most public people obviously don't want to show up to the meetings, but maybe that'll start getting people to show up when we can see that report. We can see that, and I think it's a great idea. A lot of cities have done to that, so I know it's extra work for you, but you've got it all in line now, especially starting with this new fiscal year, so.
Yep.
Thanks for doing that.
I just wanted to point out to our RTC representative, the agenda it's on the agenda for the
County Commissioner.
county commission meeting on the 5th to abolish that.
Yeah, it's a discussion action item on there. They can't abolish it without us approving it. And this is the first time it's been on the agenda since we had the discussion down here with our county commissioner. And I'm sure that our county commissioner will tell him what our feelings are at that time. I did get a call from Wendy in regards to this, but like I say, they can't do it without us, and I don't feel that I need to go up there.
Okay. Okay. All right, we've got the agenda exhausted here, so I will adjourn the meeting.
I think you're doing it just right.
Record.
So, well, we got Sean too. Sean and I talked with